everybody. How you doing?
Happy Thursday.
For sure, for sure. Let's welcome everybody. Look in the mirror. The conversation. I'm one of your co-hosts, Quay Price. We got other co-hosts for the night. Chloe checking in with us. I need C Prince to hop on here too. I think this is gonna be a topic for C Prince right here.
Should be interesting.
For sure. But shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Shout out to everybody catching us down in the comments. Definitely like, share, subscribe. Let folks know what we're doing over here. Look in the mirror, the conversation. We don't want anybody to miss out on these good conversations, this good content. And at the end of the day, we need everybody's perspective for these issues and, to kind of work through these issues. So let me drop this topic. And we're going to get on right on into this one so we can keep our time on point tonight. So the topic for tonight is baby mamas and baby daddies. Baby mamas and baby daddies. And I got
to ever get old?
So wait, say that again.
Does this topic ever get old?
No, it actually, I saw something today that sparked this conversation. So I said we might need to touch this because this is definitely a problem. Okay. So we got a guest joining us real quick. I'm gonna bring her in. Janae, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I wish I knew where the video was at,
Oh, you can't see it from your side?
Nah, that's why I said I don't like when I was looking at the video when it first came on, it just like dropped down somewhere, but I don't know where it dropped down to on my computer. So I'm here, but I just can't see y'all.
Oh, I got you. We can see you. Everything look good.
Okay, cool.
No, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Hold on, I got a comment coming in. Shout out to Shirley Ann Montgomery for joining us. She said, "What's a baby mama and a baby's daddy?" Okay, well, we're gonna get on into that. We're gonna get on into that right now. So, I wanted to have this conversation tonight because I saw something on the internet today, and it kind of took me by surprise. Right, I was looking at some stats, and the stats were saying like, within our community, and I know you always got to be, a little leery with stats. I know a lot of stuff can be manipulated and so forth, but it's still a little concerning. But the stats were saying like, within our community, it is upwards of about 70% of our children are born out of single parent households, particularly single mother households. And to be honest, I did not know that I didn't know that percentage was that high. And mind you, like I said, stats can be manipulated. So, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But I will say this, just from my observation, there's definitely something taking place. I do see, I'll be honest about that. I do see a lot of single moms and single dads these days. I don't see as many married couples as I used to see. And I know we always talk about, we talk on this show a lot about the relationship between Black men and Black women. And we also talk about the fact that, we have a substantial amount of men out here who are coming out of situations where they've been raised by single moms and they have not had the proper exposures to the male influence. So they're missing certain things that we would expect men to have or certain traits or characteristics and so forth. So just tying that all together and then looking at those statistics, we definitely got an issue. We got a problem going on. So we got a lot of, women out here trying to do it by themselves because for whatever reason, the guys are not there. We have a lot of, children coming into play. And I don't know if there's stable relationships or non-stable relationships. Like I can't call it, but Yeah, I wanted to have a conversation. So anybody who's joining us tonight, let's I see we got some viewers already. Anybody who's joining us tonight, if you want to input on this topic, maybe what's going on, why we're seeing what we're seeing. Yeah, I want to have a conversation. So, Janae, Chloe, let me know your thoughts on this.
Well, I'll let Janae go first, if you like.
Sure, no problem. It's interesting because I had my daughter when I was 19, and I feel like that Baby Mama song had just came out, and I remember being so upset because I was like, wait a minute, that's my child's father, and I'm her mother. So what's the need for kind of like demoralizing being a mother and a father? So that was, how old am I? Well, how old is my daughter? 23. So that was 23 years ago. So I would kind of look at how trends, not getting off the deepness of it, but like how music and different influences really shape how we look at each other. And it was like before that song came out, did we really say baby mama and baby daddy? Like, was that even a part of our, not that the problem didn't exist, but it was like, I remember that song and then I saw what happened. And then it's like, we're still in the same situation dealing with the problem, but it's like, why do we glorify and think it's cute?
I agree. I mean, I can't say I remember hearing that term prior to then either. Like, yeah, if I think about it, I don't think so. Like, I don't know where else it would have came from. I can't say that it was being widely used. So I don't know. I mean, I always thought it sounded weird, but I'll be honest, just like at I can't remember her name, but you put the comment up where she said normalization. Like we are so quick to normalize things. Like even me, like I don't even know where that materialized from outside of just that song, and already it became like a part of our vernacular, like a part of our speech. Um, and we take things and we normalize them. Like we'll hear people say things and next thing you know, it's the thing to say. Like like entanglement. Like how many like that she said that and then it blew up and then everybody was saying it. So I mean I think that that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But it is interesting how we take, how we take things and we turn them into trends, and it's not always positive. We take things that are said and done and we emulate them, and they're not always positive things. And this is one of those things. Like it is disrespectful to reduce the mother of your child to, a baby mama, or reduce the father of your child to, a baby daddy. Like I know we say it and we sometimes joke about it and we think it's cute, but it is demoralizing, and there's a level of disrespect that comes along with it too. I think that we have to really honestly look at it. Like we ask for and we want to demand a certain amount of respect um, from people outside our community and from other people within our community. But I think we have to respect ourselves first, and not make it so not just accept any old thing. Like we have to stop just accepting things and allowing people to put things on us. So
Well,
yeah,
I want to jump in there and say, so to me, that's like I'll just say that getting to the deeper part of it, the song, or not even the song, but just those terms are reflective of, the circumstances as far as the unwed situations or having babies where you're not in no type of committed relationship. Because even if you don't have a quote unquote marriage where you went down and signed a piece of paper, you could still have a union where you had a family structure. Um, and to the comment that I had made in the post earlier, the whole family structure piece, I feel like the dysfunction that we have in the family is very much a big issue as far as producing these type of people, children that turn into adults that had a broken home. Because even when people are married, a lot of times they still have a lot of dysfunction in their relationship. Um, so it's like, to me, is a separation as you're aging or turning into an adult, and what your focus is as you like coming from being a youth, adolescent into an adulthood. Sex and frivolous interactions and all of that is more symptomatic of other, factors. Like, why don't you have a focus? Why is being sexual um, the only thing that you really have control over? Is like, you don't have control of your environment. You don't got control over, in the youth's mind, maybe like the direction you headed. So psychologically, you control. Like, some people overeat, but sex is something that everybody don't have sex, but you can fall into that. To me, the the dysfunctions that we face growing up have a lot to do with the type of decisions that we're making as young adults, and not having like real guidance, because a lot of times parents are ready for you to leave and all that foolishness, kicking you out the door. You haven't really taught them much, but they went to school. They either got to get a job or go to college. And truthfully, that young person is like not prepared at all for like anything realistically. But here they are out there trying to make the best of it, and they making about a lot of poor decisions. So to me, the baby mama, baby daddy, or having children um, so aimlessly have more to do with root dysfunction, poor development, in the self, lack of discipline, lack of guidance. Um, and then, the cycle just repeat. You have a baby young, you can't wait to get this child grown up so you can get back to your life because you had your kid young, and continue, so it's a lot of that. And we talk about symptoms all the time, but really, really getting to the root of things, that to me, that take more courage, or more, facing, and not just looking at it, but saying, okay, so what can we do to change, like, our perspective on family, or our perspective on how families are structured, so we can produce uh more purposeful people. We seeing dysfunctional young people having babies, 30s, everybody having babies, in the sense of it wasn't planned or whatever. And just to add one more little tidbit of an extra would be, with Texas just passing that abortion law, where people was all up in arms or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, that abortion law in Texas made me more responsible in Michigan. Like, not that I'm running to go have an abortion, but just the thought that you have to be more responsible because you don't have some flimsy option to just, end a pregnancy. And they want you to be able to end a pregnancy up to the due date, which is, I don't even understand how, we, to me, that like, that's a whole nother part. But just the point that the responsibility piece, and pushing it from you don't want to get raped. I'm gonna say 98% of people that's having an abortion is having one because they made a decision, or they was doing something that was frivolous at the time, and they didn't think about it.
Speak
Not
on
it was some rape or none of that. I mean, not to say people don't get raped, but I don't mind looking at numbers, and I know the rape numbers is not for to get an abortion, not rape in general, but abortions that are induced by rape. I don't believe that that number is what's so significant. I believe the number is what we see. The Plan B, okay, that became the new abortion. People
Mm-hmm.
go to the damn CVS every time they have unprotected sex, to have a Plan B pill. So it's like, but that all of that still goes back to what I was saying previously, just the root causes to why are we so um aimless, really. Like the grown people, I mean, it just it's so many cycles of that. So to me, that's part of, a big part of why we see baby mamas, baby daddies, and children being raised in, these dysfunctional environments.
So let me ask this question. Because you brought up some great points. Like I said, I'm glad you came on the show. Like I said, I can hear the value in a lot of the things that you just said. Is it a situation of we have lost standards?
Mm-hmm.
Like is that what we're looking at? Like are
Yeah.
people? Because I remember back in the day, there was kind of standards around certain things, right? So if you were doing your little thing prior to age, you were supposed to protect yourself. There was kind of people getting together and having kids prior to being married was kind of frowned upon, or prior to being married was kind of frowned upon. I mean, is it just a matter of we've just lost standards, or because I'm trying to figure this out, because I said that percentage to me, in my opinion, is just way too high. So something is happening, like you said, we got to get to the root of it. Something is happening or happened that has kind of led us down this road. And, to your point, Janae, like I said, the cycles will just continue if we don't get to the root of what is behind, what we're seeing, current day.
I think it has a lot to do with self-worth too. Like I don't think we're teaching our young people or pouring into them the importance of being confident and, or just, like kind of piggybacking off what Jay said, like, we aren't teaching our kids how to be confident and know their self-worth. Like if a young girl knows what she's worth, and doesn't feel like she needs validation from a young dude or a man, even grown women, or a man, because there are some grown women walking around here that don't know their worth, that are looking for attention and validation. And for that reason, they're willing to lower their standards just so that they can have and get that and receive that attention and that validation, that being in a relationship, even if it's not a good one, but just being in a relationship, what it gives. I think that's important too. Like, I think that's also a symptom. I agree. So I think we do push our children out too early. I think we could do a better job at supporting them and making sure that when we do put them, when we do, and I don't want to say put them out, but when we send them out into the world, that they're better prepared, right? That doesn't mean that they won't still make some bad choices. You can't, as parents, we can't be held responsible for every choice our children make, but at the same time, we should be pouring into them and supporting them, so they don't feel like they're just out here trying to figure it out and don't have any idea or any clue what they're supposed to be doing. I think we're supposed to provide that safe space. But if we have younger people having children, that does produce a cycle too, because maybe if you never learn those keys and you don't pick them up at some point before you have children, then how are you going to know how to give them that or how to teach them that if you never learn it, right? If you never heal from whatever trauma you've experienced, because I do believe there are young people who have experienced trauma, and that's part of the reason why. So yeah, if you don't get that, how can you give it to somebody else?
Right. Let me grab this comment, then I'll let somebody else speak. I think that's Sharice. I think that's Sharice Hardy. She said, culturally speaking, the Black community does things completely different than many other cultures. Sharice, I'm just curious, when you say we do things completely different than many other cultures, is that good or bad? Yep, is that good or bad? And if it is bad, how do you think we correct that? So just drop another comment and let me know your thoughts on that. All right, Shirley-Ann, you want to say anything? Ken, you want to say anything?
I'll let my mother go first and then I'll comment. I got a bomb to drop.
Hey, so, I think it's an interesting topic. That's why I ask you, what's baby's mama's baby's father? When we came up, the thing was kind of like, you know who your mama is for sure, but you weren't certain who your father was, which is probably even a worse stigma. I think what we have forgotten, because people had children, and I'm not condoning teenage or child age or any of that birthing process. However, there is absolutely nothing new under the sun. The difference is you were taught how to take care of your children, and your children were taught to respect you based on the position that you were in. And then there is and was a community that raised the children. So I think I know we lack values, because values mean different things to different people. And I've got, it's kind of like what the young lady said also, and Chloe, how society, music tends to drive your thought process instead of recognizing that you have a complete thought process yourself. So I said to someone this morning, which made a whole lot of sense, and it's truth, and it's not like I didn't realize that. And it was like, every morning we wake up, the first person, however you want to identify it, that speaks to us is life. It says, I'm here. And you have no choice about me being here as life and what I present to you. However, you get to choose how you're going to respond to what I bring to you. So, going back to your subject, I think just like the trend got started by someone saying it, the trend can also be stopped. In our community, in our households, we do not have to consistently drive that narrative or laugh at it or say, this is this, this is that. I think we need to go back to helping our young people understand who they are and their self-worth. And Chloe mentioned there were women and there are men, that people of age, let's put it that way, of age, who really don't know who they are. And a lot of it has to do with the lack of proper parental guidance coming up. A lot of it has to do with betrayal. A lot of it has to do with all these other negatives and things that people were not processing. And if a lot of people would be honest, statistically, especially in our communities and probably in other communities also, because people are just people. The difference is the skin tone, even though, yeah, we're treated different. But the bottom line is people are just people. And I think if we could really plug in that narrative and say, I want to be treated the same way because I'm a human being, that makes a difference. But there's far too many people who have been abused sexually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and everything else as little people. They were violated and they never got the proper counseling. Some people are hypersexual just because someone touched their breast, be it male or female. And we don't deal with those issues. What we deal with is the aftermath, but we never go back and address it. Why? Most parents don't, because they were likewise violated, and it was, shh, don't tell anybody. So I think until we get to the root of the problem, and you have to have psychological professionals on deck and what have you when you're dealing with issues, until we can help people to really heal, these narratives that really don't serve us will always play out and take lead. That's what I want to say about it.
No,
Thank
appreciate that. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Los. Los, you still muted, man.
I agree. There's a book, Quay, that I would like everybody to check out. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, that was good.
And the book talks about this thing called hypnotic rhythm. And it's basically kind of like the boiling frog syndrome, Quay, where you're in a loop and you don't even realize that you're in a loop. And I think one thing that we forget is about narratives. And when I say that from the simple fact that when we talk about baby mama, baby drama, they talk about that from a narrative of Black people. They paint that over us as if no other race deals with the same type of issue. And at the same time, the financial standpoint of dealing with this issue or tackling this issue is different because of our skin tone, because of slavery. So in this situation, there are a lot of deeply rooted things that haven't been talked about because we don't want to discuss Uncle Johnny. In our culture, sometimes it's easier to get to know someone else's. We would rather call someone out their name than to actually get to know their history and what they've been through, because that takes more work. I'd rather address a female, oh, she a stripper, she this, she that, than to actually get to know why or what activated her to be so sensual or sexual. I'm back, Quay?
Yeah, you good, man. You just broke up a little bit. Go ahead.
Because it's easier to address somebody that you don't know than it is to take the time to get to know them. Because if you actually took the time to get to know the person, you might not talk to them in the same manner, right? So for us, I want us to be able to avoid the black highlight, but then I want us to be able to have truthful conversations about sexuality. I want us to be able to have truthful conversations about sometimes we do put our children out into the world too early. When in other cultures, they keep the home to pay off the home, and then when they get the home, they move into the next home instead of starting fresh. In our culture, it's 18, it's time to get out. It's time to get out there in the world and figure it out. And then we have babies raising babies. You know what I mean? How can we expect someone who's 18, 19, who hasn't figured who they are in themselves, how can they raise a child? Not saying that it hasn't happened, but a lot of times we have the blind leading the blind because they haven't fully experienced who they are for themselves. But then they're bringing children into the world. So I think there's a lot of deeper things in the garden that we need to go back to address to be able to pull those roots out and look at narrative, the financial structure, the consequences of choices when it comes to sex or whatever else, and then the reality of the price that's being paid for when you have these things that happen. Not only that, but even the music and things that we listen to. How is it conditioning us to talk to our female partner? What is it teaching us to say? Because now we've lowered our standards. As men, we've lowered our standards who we are. We're not even in order with the alignment in whatever we were supposed to believe in. So if I'm not in order with who I'm supposed to be respectful to, how can I be respectful to the woman that I'm claiming that I love? And if I can't be respectful to the woman and I have a baby mama, then how can our children grow up in a household of knowing what respect looks like? And then we wonder why we have conversations about brokenness. And I think we have conversations about brokenness, and Chloe, you probably agree with me, is because we're out of alignment anyway. We're not following the principles that keep us in alignment with structure so we can have family, so we can have love. I think women are, giving it up too easy. I think men are too sexual. You know what I mean? So how can we find respect out of any of this? What happened to courting? What happened to taking the time to get to know somebody? Like you said, Quay, earlier, about what happened to the basic fundamentals of a structure of a family or of a relationship or of conversation or of just dating. And if all that's out of whack, then what else are we supposed to produce? If these choices are all out of whack, we are the choices of yesterday. So obviously, if we don't like the results of all these baby mamas or the dramas and everything else, then we have to go back to look at the problem and see when did we go left? And why are we still driving off this cliff at 90 miles per hour as if it's okay?
I feel that.
So I think that goes back to when you said structure, Quay.
I feel that. So let me ask this question. Let me go back. Let me take it back to the basics. Let's say we got some ladies on the panel with us right now. So question to the ladies on the panel. Do y'all think ladies give it up too easy?
Yes, I think they do. I think, yeah, I do. I think ladies give it up too easy, but I think men have gotten to the point where they expect it. They expect it a lot quicker. I think when you, just like I heard someone say recently, like 90 days, like, why would you make somebody wait 90 days? And I'm just sitting here going like, 90 days is a long time. That's my mindset. Like, we're talking about getting to know a person. Like, we're talking about getting to know a person before you give them you give yourself something that's very precious. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking about getting to know a person, and you telling me 90 days is too long? You can know somebody for 5 years and not know them. So you mean now you're telling me that 90 days is too long? I mean, to each his own, okay? Do what you do. But I grew up in the abstinence era, okay? That's the school I came from, okay? That was what was preached to me. Abstinence was preached to me. So, 90 days ain't a long time. Do what you do. But I think that the reason why I'm always gonna be a little bit more harder on the girls is because, one, I am a female, so I'm speaking to women, but also because you hold the key to the cookie jar. He can't do anything that you don't allow him to do. So it's very, very important that you have a certain amount of, we teach our young women to have a certain amount of self-respect, to know that they don't just have to give it up. It's okay. Guess what? If he leaves because you didn't, hallelujah. Yes. Hallelujah. You dodged a bullet, sis. Because if he leaving because you won't give it up, he was going to leave anyway. He was just going to leave afterwards. So it's just one of those situations where it's like teaching our women to accept that. And, King said something, I agree with them. They do paint us with that brush. Oh, baby mama, they put that on us along with other things. But at the same time, we have to be honest and say, they can't put that on us if we don't accept it, because we start calling ourselves baby mamas and baby daddies first. So we owned it. We took it on. We was like, oh, this sounds cute. And we just took it on. And we never should have done that. We do that with so much stuff though, guys. Like we take these labels on and we think it's cute and we think it's trendy. And then when we look up years later, we go, I don't know if I like that. Well, maybe we should have been paying attention. A lot of us, we go for stuff because we're just not paying attention. Like we're not paying attention to our kids. That's why some of the stuff that's happening to them, the trauma that's happening to them, and we find out years later, and we're like, what happened? And some parents didn't even know. I mean, like a solution. I don't know. Maybe we could, first of all, I think it is good in the Black community for us let's normalize talking about our problems and not always sweep them
before you change the subject. I sent Quay an article, right? And I just want to know what you feel about this. It was a white lady. And I sent Quay the article because we was going to do a show on it. And she says, I feel like women should give it up on the first date. And she went viral about this comment. I sent it to Quay. And her argument was, we should give it up on the first date because we should know if we like this person or not, or whatever else. And I thought she had lost her damn mind, personally. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I ain't never had sex on the first date, because I ain't gonna sit there and act like I'm, innocent. But she did a whole article and it went viral, and people were really debating whether or not if you should have sex on the first date. And I'm like, yo, are we so far removed from the mark? I mean, I just wanted to know your thoughts about that, because I knew you were addressing, 90 days. So because you had to address people are complaining about 90 days, no, sis, they complaining about sex on the first date now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that points to where we are as a society, like where our standards are and how low our standards have dropped. I mean, we're talking about there used to be a time where, you weren't having sex until you were married. So you didn't get to test it out. You didn't know anything like, I mean, because here's the thing, like, I guess I just look at it differently. I'm like, we all got the same parts. For men, I guess they look a little different. There's a range of sizes, but we all got the same parts. Friend, if you can't figure it out, like with the person, that says a lot about you. Like that, to me, that should be the fun part. Like y'all coming together and learning each other and exploring each other and learning how to enjoy each other, because everybody is different. Like the fact that we feel like we gotta test drive it like a car before we can, you know what I mean? Like that's crazy to me. That's literally how we treat it now.
All
Like
right,
first I gotta test drive it first. I don't even want to take her out on no real date.
Let me
I don't even really want to spend no money on her till I really know like what that thing do. Because
Can I jump in right fast? I wanted to say,
hey, not what that thing do, sis. Not what that thing do.
not just
Go ahead, Janae.
Yeah, I wanted to say that to me that everybody is having sex too soon, not just women, but everybody having sex too soon, because unless you really just want to play and you don't have any goals towards a relationship, some people, that's where they at in their life. I'm not going to speak to if you never be in that place in your life. But most people claim that that's not the place that they're in. They claim that they're interested in meeting someone of interest on both sides when people claim that that's where they are. And if that's where you say you are, then why would you want to connect emotionally and like cloud your judgment before you actually got to know a person? Like a person you should be able to count on, and I don't mean financially, I mean on the person being who the hell they said they was. Like I know who I am. I know that I'm genuine and I know what I bring to the table. So if I meet a person, I'm, whoever you was 5 minutes before you met me, not so all the women you had, whoever you was just 5 minutes before you met me, that's who you are. So why we gonna pretend like just because we met, it's some magical something beyond the moment? Like, get to know the person outside of that moment. Don't put those type of love, sexual emotions in immediately, because again, if you can't count on the person, you may be, hooking up with somebody that's a negative force in your life, and you have yourself to look at. All of this blaming, like if people still, when you hear a person tell a story, if you still in the story don't have any personal accountability, not that you can't tell what happened if somebody did something, but a lot of what is happening is just lack of accountability for the choices that we're making.
True.
Which still goes back to this lack of purpose and being aimless. I wanted to jump back a little further with somebody was talking about slavery, or just going back, thinking about how things were, and even slavery. Like, we were told stories, and then we know it's like all this other stuff that we're not quite, sure about all the details. So do we really know how we were in a familial way? Do we really have any type of record or memory of how we conducted ourselves? I personally don't think so, but I say that because people always go to slavery as if that's where our history started, which is so not that y'all ridiculous, but it's just ridiculous that that's where we start the conversation. That's not where our history started. Okay. So if we start there and think about all of the treachery that we supposedly experienced and the breaking up of the families you had, and you wonder why molested, like we was breeding with our family as a way of life, because supposedly that was part of our our experience as the, you know, slave in the slave part. So you had the slavery part and you had now we not slaves. The black men, not all of them, but some of them became the new slave in the household. So now you had a dynamic of this control patriarchy, like the white male patriarchal mind. So if that is what you are like defining how a relationship is even supposed to go, like we basing it off of trauma, coming out of trauma. We came out of trauma. You had an uprising of black men having some control in their household, but they didn't have no control out in the world because they were still being subjugated heavily being a black man. So to me, if we look like historically, things are not like so hard to figure out because it was not that long ago. Nothing was that long ago. Like they usurped hip hop, they usurped music. Okay. They saw that we were able to communicate with each other and start to like come back to some type of reality of having some sense of self. And they came right on in there and all of the music, who, you know, whoever the hip hop people that from back in the day that everybody talk about. And then, you know, when the music changed and it just kept on going. So much so that when every new artist come out, we can't even say that it's not good because we accepted the last set of artists. So I can't say, what can I say about Lil' Kim? I mean, Nicki Minaj, when I took on Lil' Kim or whatever, like every time they took it up an ante. So anyways, I don't want to get all long-winded, but the point is, if we look at historically, starting from that point that we love to look at, it's really not that far. And we can really like literally see the strategic things that they did. It was slavery to prison. All right. It was school to prison. It was labor or school to labor prison. Like we work. That is still slavery. Most people are like labor slaves, prison slaves, labor slaves. So to me, those are the type of dynamics is you know, we could just break them down and see how they all impacted why we live the way we live today. And the question would be, when are we going to ask, how do we want to live? Like we don't have to keep doing this funky ass, this funky ass tradition that we, you know, keep getting passed down. We do not have to keep doing that. We can say, like my daughter lived, she's still here. I am doing, in my mind, the bridge. Like, no, you don't need to get out. Actually, can you pay half the rent somewhere? Can you really? No, you can't. Because if you about to move out and still think I'm about to be, you might as well get some rearing, but you got to have a relationship. And if you've been kicking your kid out and don't want to talk to him, and I'm the parent and all this other foolishness that, you know, grown people and parents be on, don't nobody want to still be with you no ways. Don't nobody want to still stay. Don't know, you know, it's not, you know, so we have so much dysfunction. And I don't think it's a hopeless situation at all. I just feel like we have to be adult about it and really look at what happened and decide what we want to do. And then start to try to incorporate that, you know, into teaching though, like not just talking, like it should be some type of a program, you know, a book or whatever. Like, hey, you know, is no guide for parents. Well, why the hell not? We see all of the, you know, all of the disparities that we facing. It should be, you know, so.
Good point. Good point. You want to say something, C Prince? I can see it on your face, man.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Be honest.
What? I'm just looking at the topic, baby mamas and baby daddies. I mean, I'm getting, you know, I had technical difficulties getting online for some reason. I don't know why, but you know, I'm gonna say it like this. I don't even like the topic, baby mamas and baby daddies and stuff. What happened to fathers and mothers and stuff like that, you know? So that's a real touchy for me because I think that's just a title for somebody you didn't really know. You know what I'm saying? These people you didn't know, so you couldn't call them a father or a mother, so you call them baby mamas and baby daddies. So that's how I think that is.
Yeah, no. So let me give you some context, man. So the title is really for clickbait, right? So the real discussion is we have a high percentage of our children that are being raised by single parent households. And basically we're trying to figure out basically what is going wrong or what went wrong as to why we have so many single parent households now. Let's say having a lot of children out here that are being, a lot of people, kids are being raised by single mothers, but then at the same time, we'll come back and say, these young fellas are missing things that they should know or be able to do as men. But they may have been raised by a single mom and not had a lot of exposure to male influence. So we're trying to figure out why is that happening and how do we go down the road to try to correct it. So yeah, that's the context, but the title is really clickbait, man. That's just get you emotional, man.
Oh, okay, I can tell you why. Now you got me started. now I can tell you why, because most of these young men, they don't look at the quality of the women they mess with. All they got to do is be little eye candy, and then guess what? They think just because I hit it, nothing gonna happen. It just it's just like this. Like I'm gonna hit this, chalk it up to the game. And by the time they come back 9 months later, she talking about, you chalk one up to the game. Now you're responsible for this thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think what it is most of us don't think with the right head. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say, most of the men don't think. They think.
Go, see, go.
What they say? I use a condom. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my pullout game is tough. All that bull crap. They tell themselves, oh, my sperm count is low. I can't have children. You know what I'm saying? Most of these men believe this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They believe their own mess. But you also got to fault the woman, because guess what? Just like they don't have values, the women don't have values because they know that dude's a bum when they met him. You know what I'm saying? Just because he looked good, got all the name brand clothes and stuff, he fit that image that they think they should be with. You know what I'm saying? Men got eye candy, women got eye candy. The same thing. They don't want to know each other. They just want to look good for that moment.
Go, see, Prince, go.
What they say?
Hold on. Let me interject real quick, see, Prince. I knew he's about to get on here and take off. So let me ask you a question based on something you just said. So are you trying to imply that the women are not looking for the right traits in the men that they're choosing to I guess be with, if you want to say it that way? Is that what you're trying to imply?
Yeah, I say most women are living for the moment and not the memories. That's what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? They looking at that moment.
What are the men looking for? What are the men looking for?
Hey, they looking for the same thing. So guess what? It's the true statement. You know what I'm saying? It's a true statement.
It is the truth.
Wait, hold on. Y'all
wait,
agreeing with me, Prince?
Wait. Okay, so I just said that earlier, right? I just said that earlier. That women, I just said that, and then we went to men. Here's the thing. Like I always say this, we already know that if the women are being a little too loose with their bodies, that there's got to be somebody on the other side that's taking advantage of that, right? So there's no one side to it. So if I'm saying, ladies, we have to start, really pouring into our young women and setting, good examples for them, right? We're the ones who have lived these experiences, right? So we can pour into them and at least try to show them something different, or try to teach them that there's a different way to approach these types of life decisions. I guess for me, I'm like, I'm a woman, so I'm speaking to women. If the men on this panel, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would like for you to speak to the men, and the young men. Like, if you guys are seeing this, if you can influence young dudes around you, and talk to them and pour into them. I think that's when we start talking about solutions, right? Like, we've called out a whole lot of problems and a whole lot of why we believe we ended up in this predicament. But, this show is about also trying to provide solutions too. And for me, I think that when you knew better, you do better. Like I agree. We accepted the Lil Kims and the Foxy Browns. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and act like, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't listening to that music. I was, and knew the words, every single one of them. But when you knew better, you do better, right? So now that we're in a space where we see what has happened because of that, now we can look back and go, oh, you know, we didn't realize where this was going. Like we didn't know that this is what it was going to turn into, right? So it's okay for us to judge. Like I think people need to get off of the don't judge thing. Like it's okay. We make judgments every day. You know what I'm saying? We make, should I go, should I eat Chipotle or should I eat Taco Bell? That's a judgment. Like we make judgments all day, every day. I don't know when making judgments became a bad thing. People take that scripture way out of context. But anyway, we all have judges. We all have people who we judge all day long. So let's stop looking at judgment as being a bad thing. First and foremost. Second of all, things we can change. Now that we see that, we've allowed a culture, we've allowed, like Jay said, them to come in and basically completely turn our culture, or the culture we were trying to create, upside down. Now that we see that, we need to stop accepting it. When we see Lil Nas come out with the devil shoe, we should be like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I'm not wearing no devil shoe. And that's not okay. Like, it's okay for us to see stuff and say, this ain't right, and to speak out about it. I think we need more people doing that instead of just accepting stuff.
Chloe, I'm with you.
We accepted, okay, I'm gonna struggle to get this out. Like, we accepted baby daddy. Like, we should never have accepted that. But now that we see that we did, it's okay for us to go back and say, you know what, that never was okay. That wasn't cute. It's not funny. That's not my baby daddy. That's my child's father. And I'm no longer going to call him that. And I'm not going to allow you to call him that. It's time for us to lift up a standard for ourselves and our community. We can change, you know what I'm saying, the way we speak to our children when it comes to social media and how they should look at social media. We can give them a proper perspective about this and stop allowing technology to raise our kids. These are some of the things we can do. We can normalize mental health in our communities. Normalize it being okay. You know what I'm saying? Instead of us, don't tell nobody when stuff happens. Don't talk to nobody. You keep family folk stuff with the family folk. Don't talk. We can normalize it being okay for you to sit down and talk to somebody about a neutral party outside of the family. We can normalize that. We can do that. It's okay. I just think that those are some of the things. Change the narrative. Like Jay said, she's changing the narrative with her relationship with her daughter. Change the narrative. You don't have to kick your baby out just because they're 18 or 19. You don't have to. Change the narrative. Show them, let them have it. Let them have a few years of experience as living as an adult with you supporting them, so that when they go out on their own, they'll know, oh, this is how I pay a bill. This is how I do this. This is
Chloe.
Those are the types of things we can do. Like, we can change this narrative. It just takes us actually doing it, action, instead of just speaking about it. And this is my last point. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. But we do have a book on parenting. It's called the Bible. See, when people was reading that and following that, we had a different culture. We had a different mood. We had a different movement. But see, we've gotten away from that. There is a book that exists. That book tells you about life itself, period. There is no subject not covered in it. But the problem is, we don't want to hear that, because we still want to do what we want to do. And then when everything blows up in our face, we want to say, how did we get here?
Well, everybody
nobody
not
really actually.
I just want everybody not Christians though, but I feel you on that point.
Okay, well, I agree. You don't have. You know what? This is what I always say. Everybody not a Christian, but God still exists.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a firm believer in you don't have to agree with that book. You don't have to read it, but it's still real. And if we really want to talk about history, that's our history. Our history, the brown people right here, all up on this screen. That is our history. That's what our life was before they put us on those ships and they brought us here. And it started with a very strong family structure, with a very rich history. But see, I think more people need to stop looking at that book as just being a religious book and actually understand that that book actually is it's history. People want to know where we actually came from. That's that. It's history. So if we take the emotion out of it and we go in practical terms, there's a lot of wisdom there. So you don't even necessarily have to be a Christian if you want to say you're not. I don't necessarily consider myself a Christian either.
Well, I just am speaking.
But I mean, you know,
made the point of it being for everyone, and I'm just basically saying everybody don't subscribe to the Bible, so everybody would not look to that book as a way to rule their household. It's no disrespect to what you're saying, or I'm just basically saying in general. Not my personal beliefs, but in general, maybe or maybe not, because for some people that would be divisive. Maybe not for you, but I'm just saying.
Okay, I respect your opinion, but everything that I'm saying right now is my opinion. So nobody on this panel has to agree with me. I'm going to speak my piece, and this is my piece. My piece is this, and it will always be this. People say we don't have a guidebook. In my personal opinion, and I'm, you know, it's my opinion. In my personal opinion, we do have one. People don't want to regard it as such. And I understand that. But I say it like this. That guidebook guided my parents. It guided me. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. And I have not made every right decision in my life. But I like to think that it didn't steer me wrong. It never really has. So I'll say this. We have to get to the point where we stop saying, I don't know, or where does it come from, or does it exist, or how do we get there? And we actually have to start, and somebody said it earlier, and I think it might have been you, Jay, like we have to be accountable. We can't always just make excuses. At the end of the day, if we don't like the way things are going, we can't change them. You know, we can change them. We can change the way we look at music. We can change the way we look at movies. We can change the way we look at social media. We can change these things. We don't have to accept it just because it's so. We don't have to take whatever somebody gives us. Like, we can change it. And at the end of the day, part of the reason why people do whatever they want to do is because they don't have no type of purpose. And they definitely don't believe that they have anybody that they have to answer to. And the truth is, that's not true. We all have someone that we are going to have to answer to. So you can accept it now, or you can accept it later. But every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. So that's my story. That's my opinion. I mean, I don't necessarily debate it because the truth doesn't really need validation. But I'm gonna sign off. And I feel like if people want to, really start talking about solutions, I'm all about solutions. But I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear.
No, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Shirley-Ann, do you want to say something? I know you look like you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. I just want to echo Chloe from the perspective of when we said we don't have guidance. For me, the Bible is also guidance. We just have to be able to ask for wisdom as we decipher whatever it is that we're reading and we're applying to our households. Because, again, there's nothing new under the sun. Different things happen biblically that's already recorded, that is currently occurring today. Adultery, murder, blah, 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 blah. But there is solutions. As far as our community and other communities do it also, most communities that don't put their children out are those that came from an immigration perspective, and that's how they built their families and their communities. But I say, if we let our children stay home, I don't wait till you get to 18 to teach you about the facts of life. I need to be teaching you when you're 4, 5, 6 years old about chores, about participating in the family, why mommy, daddy goes out to work and how we manage funds and what have you. And not only that, I need to teach you about respect And I need to teach you your position in your place. And do we have conversations? Absolutely. But then there's sometimes some things that don't require conversation. It's a matter of building relationship and respect and posture as to where you sit as the child and I sit as the adult. I don't answer to you as a child, especially if I'm taking care of you. And if in the end state you don't want to live up under my roof, it's okay. What you fail to realize is you're going to answer to someone. Even if you own your own home, you're going to answer to that bank. You're going to answer, I pay for my home. Got it. So what? You're going to answer to the city or the county for your taxes or whatever. So there is always an accountability place that needs to be in place. I think the problem or some of the challenges, and we have to come there to grips with ourselves, is being not only accountable to others, but we need to be accountable and we need to be honest. We need to be truthful to ourselves. As far as our young men and our young women, not valuing who we are, or, you know, I got to answer this call because this, or I want him to pay my bills. It's like, okay, so where are your standards really? And why does he need to pay your bills and you not paying your bills? And why is it that you cannot come together as a unit, as a team, and build one another? So I think we are definitely off balance in roles. We are way off balance in family and how do families make it? There are families that don't have the millions, the billions, the trillions, or whatever. But there are people, unfortunately, someone made a bad decision and they went to prison, they went to jail or whatever, and they know how to make their families work. And what's really sad for me, and I don't knock other people, but it is sad for me when I look at the gay community and I see how they are able to make their family structures work. And you have heterosexual communities that don't know how to make their families work, that don't know how to be loyal to one another, that don't want to make the sacrifices for each other. And of course, yeah, we all grew up different. And I heard the young lady say that, you know, we may or may not really truly know our history. I'll never forget my experience when I went to Ghana, West Africa. And there was so many different characteristics and things that they were doing there. And that was my first time ever in that country, but I could identify with it. And I was born in America. The loudness in our voices, the expressions of our hands and different things of that nature, the value of community with our elders and what have you over there. Those were traditions that were initially brought to the United States with us as a people. And we went away from that. And a lot of people are like, I got to protect my peace. Yep, we do need to protect our peace. But in order to protect my peace, if I have an issue with you, I can't come to you crazy, but I do have to come to you and say, hey, you know what you did or what you said, it affected me in this way. And this is why it affected me, to allow you to say, yeah, this is what I intended for you. Or no, sis, you read me wrong, because that's not what I meant. So we have to really understand as a people on this earth. And for me, I'll go back to it. I'm going to wrap it up with this. I certainly, truly, 100% believe in the Bible. I say this, if people say they don't believe in the Bible or whatever, at the end, then, which of course the word does say every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. And I ain't trying to preach or confess to make or convince anyone to do anything. Then don't call on the Lord anytime when anything don't go right in your household, because he's not a Santa Claus. Ooh. Either he is or he isn't. That's just my bag there. But the end state is we do have solutions. I just have to be selfless and not selfish so that we can work the solution. Because the solutions definitely exist. We're very powerful. We're very resilient. We're very intelligent. We are definitely the change agent in society, people in general. But we really are, because the reason why I would say that is if there was no value to you, there's no need for me to hunt you. There's no need for me to take you out. There's no need for me to silence you. But if you are at a same level or playing field that I'm at, or I see you tracking and I don't want you where I am at, I will silence you. I will take you out. And a lot of people say that things don't exist, but go back and I say this is true too. Read the Willie Lynch. A lot of people say, oh, that's just fictitious or whatever. But if you look at it and dissect it, the things that they said back then, it is currently happening today. And sisters, we also need to give grace and mercy to our brothers, just like they need to give grace and mercy to us. And we need to freaking figure it out if we plan on having a family. Because we all, truth of the matter is, got mental issues, is how we resolve it. The Army coined PTSD, but PTSD has been existing within our community for a long time. And it's just time to be real with ourselves. So before I can even fix you, which of course I can't fix, control, manage, or anybody else, I got to ask God to help me fix me so that when I look at you, I can understand why you may do what you do, because I've healed from what I've been through. Hurt people truly do hurt people, but heal people know how to help other people heal and get through. Thank you for allowing me to share.
I appreciate that, Shirley Ann. Go ahead, C Prince.
Hi, okay. Y'all said a lot, boy. Now, I'm gonna touch on the first one. Letting these kids stay at home. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That should never be an option. Letting them stay at home, especially when they ain't doing nothing. Because you think about it. If you look at these young men nowadays, most of these young men don't even have a car. They're driving their girl's car because they stay at home. You know what I'm saying? And then the parents get mad. You got this grown person staying at your home, not following your rules, but he can stay there because you told him to stay there. But you forget, he ain't a child no more. He's a man or a woman. So guess what? You can't let a grown person stay in your house and change your rules and stuff, because guess what? Most of these parents are doing it. And then these kids come home, smoke their blunts, play their video games, play their friends, all that. So guess what? If that's a theory, if that's what we think, that we got to teach them to be adults after they become adults, something wrong with that. That picture, they should have been learning a long time ago how to be adults, right? And then as far as the younger generation, there is a disconnect from the older generation because they wash their hands of them. You know what I'm saying? These kids don't struggle. They don't know nothing. All they know is they have. They are privileged. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're in the project. You're still privileged because most of them project kids got name brand clothes, everything. You know what I'm saying? They got watches and stuff more than a working man. So guess what? There is a disconnect because guess what? They don't have the same values as the older people. They want that quick money. And the old people like that long money. So there's a disconnect. So you can't teach somebody that's only looking for tomorrow. And then they tell you, I might not live to be 21, so I'm going to live fast. So their futures are not like our futures, how we thought about, I'm going to get old and die. They're going to get young and die. You know what I'm saying? That's their goals. You see what I'm saying? So as far as us and our culture, you know, other cultures, they come here, they have nothing. The American dream, they believe in it. You see what I'm saying? They chase it. We here in America, we know it's a nightmare. You see, they don't have the experience that we have. So when they come to this country, they more welcome. Because guess what? You talk to them African, Nigerians, Jamaicans, whatever. They said, we're not like you. You're black. I'm from Jamaica. You're black. I'm from Virgin Islands or wherever. But they're not black. They don't consider themselves to be black. We're different from them. You know what I'm saying? So when they come over this country, they look down on us. Even though they look down on us. That's why they stay in their communities. They get mad when we date their women.
Yeah, but not all.
Majority
not
of them
all.
Do. Majority of them do. You know, they don't like us mingling with them.
Not true.
You know what? What? I don't know. Okay.
False.
Every single how about this? Every single one that I have met has acted exactly how C Prince has said. So obviously I haven't met every single one, but every single one that I have met.
I mean, if you want to be, we could be naive about it and say, oh, this is a unity, because guess what? The first thing an African tell you, I'm not from here, I'm from Africa. But guess what? You ain't even not from Africa. Africa named after a Roman general that defeated one tribe and named the whole damn continent Africa after him. His name Africanitis or something. Look it up. That's how he beat one tribe. So these brothers run around talking about they Africans, and that's not even where they're from. So that's how it goes. So ignorance is everywhere. So these, you know what I'm saying? So when they come over here, I get quick with them Africans and Jamaicans. I'm telling like this. Guess what? It's funny to me when you come from over here to this country, you Jamaican, black, white, I don't care what it is. But when you go back to your country, there's black and white. But when you come to this country, you're all one nation. You see what I'm saying? It's a divide. They could come here and act like they all together. But when you go back to countries, go to Puerto Rico. There's black and white Puerto Ricans.
But I think that's governmental driven. I think that's U.S. driven.
I don't know.
That's
U.S. general. They come over here and they don't want to be categorized as black. They don't want to be like us.
So see, Prince, let me respond to that because I said I have questions around that.
That's a whole topic.
No, it is a whole nother topic, but sometimes I'll be honest, sometimes I do feel like we could be doing better. Right. So I know there is a situation where people will look at our skin color and make their judgments or their stereotypes around us and so forth. Right. But sometimes I feel like as a people, we could be doing better, which would naturally combat a lot of that. Listen, at the end of the day, you know, listen, everybody has made great points tonight. We have a lot of things that we already know that we should or should not be doing. But in a lot of situations, we choose not to do what we know is probably the right decision to make or the right move to make. Yeah, when we have a situation where it's like, okay, you know, going back to C. Prince's point, you know, and I'm just taking the position of the female. You know, the female is looking at this dude. She know this dude ain't kosher, but he the hot boy at school, right? So she gonna go ahead and do what she do with this dude, and then it don't turn out well. Yep, the same with the brothers. You know what I'm saying? Brothers go look at certain females, and it's like you already know she hot. You already know it.
Example, Corey.
You say what?
You using somebody like Future as an example?
Well, I say he is an example. So yeah, we definitely use Future as an example. But I said from the male point, you know, perspective, you know, you go approach a certain young lady, you already know it's gonna be a problem. But you go do it anyway because she thick or whatever little material stuff you come up with, and you go do it, and then it turns out wrong, and then now you don't want to be around her no more. But now you done got her pregnant. You see what I'm saying? Like we make these decisions, and it's like we already know better. So then when you compound that with what people see or what people think of us outside of us, and like I said, at the end of the day, they don't truly know what it is, but perception. So then now they want to look down on you. So for me, let's say when I hear these things, it's like we gotta just get back to doing what we know we need to do. Like I said, all of this stuff to me does not come off as being complicated. Like I said, I know there's deep-rooted traumas there. I know there's things that take place in our families that, you know, we keep quiet, that we shouldn't be keeping quiet. I know young kids are getting touched out here. I know, like I said, I know there's all types of stuff going on. But I still, at the same time, there's a lot of situations where I feel like we know what's right, but we just choose to do what we want to do. And then when it blows up in our face, then one, we got to deal with those consequences, or two, we ready to get triggered when somebody say something about our bad decision. Mm-hmm. So it's like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? What do we really want to do? You know, like, how do we really want to handle this? Like I said, you know, all of this stuff, I feel like it's all reversible. You know, we getting smarter by the day, at least that's how I feel. Yep. So it's like, what do we really want to do? Yeah. Are we ready to correct this? Are we getting tired of it? Like I said, when I'm going back looking at these stats and I'm seeing these 70% of children in single homes, or 70% of our kids are being raised in single homes, it's like, we got to change that. Yeah, we can't be talking generational wealth in 2021, but we still got broken families. Ooh. Like that doesn't line up. Wow. So it's like at some point we got to go ahead and turn this corner. There is solutions everywhere, right? But I feel like the solution right now is we got to make a decision. Do we want to correct it, or do we want to keep rolling how it's rolling right now?
Hey, Quay,
Go ahead, Kim.
I think one of the decisions we have to make is what's really wealth, the
Right.
dollar or the family.
Woo.
So what's
Yes.
wealth?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that we look at legacy, and I was just talking to Koasi and some friends about this over the weekend. Like, we want to place all our legacy in the money basket now. Like, when we think of legacy, we think if it doesn't come with a dollar sign, then it's not a legacy. And our legacy used to be our family, right? Our family name, and being able to carry on that family name, being able to pour into our children so then they can then pour into their children. And then we have a strong legacy. Like, that was the legacy. I think that we have completely turned that upside down. I think that's part of the problem. If we spent more time pouring into our children in chasing them and their success the way we chase money, I think that, maybe we wouldn't have some of this happen. And to clarify something, I would never suggest that you let someone who doesn't want anything for themselves stay in your house just to stay in your house. The understanding was, as they're growing up, yes, you should be making sure you're preparing them with life skills. But when they get to be 18 or 19, it doesn't mean you just show them the door and say it's time for you to get out. You're an adult. Like, 18 or 19 is not really adult, first and foremost. But second of all, what I'm saying is, give them time to mature. Like, give them time to understand what being an adult is, not just sending them right out the door because they're 18 or 19. Like, that wasn't what I was saying. What I was saying was, like, me, like, I stayed home till I was 24. Okay. Because I needed to find a job that would support me well enough to be able to leave and not come back. I didn't want to leave and come back. I wanted to leave. I wanted to have money in the bank. I wanted to have savings. I wanted to be able to leave and actually have a life. I was not ready at 18 to do all that. I just wasn't. And it wasn't because I didn't want anything. I was working a job, but it wasn't the kind of job that was going to really allow me to support myself at that point. So what I'm saying is, give your children a chance. Like, give them a chance. We're not saying kick them right out the door. We're not saying let them stay there forever. We're saying give them a chance, right? Like, and I think sometimes we do it prematurely.
Okay, no, we appreciate that. You want to say something, Los, man? I know we in them last few minutes, man, before we get ready to wrap. You want to say anything, Los?
I'll let everybody do their closing remarks and go in.
I think they might have closed already, man. I think we about ready to get it. Go ahead, man. Let's see. Prince got to say something.
What about Jay Porter? Did she have anything else? Jay Porter, you had anything else, Queen, to say?
I just want to thank you for inviting me to come out and say some words. I really had fun, and it was really nice hearing everybody's perspectives.
We appreciate you coming. Appreciate you coming.
See, Prince?
I think the only thing we'll say is this, I'm a firm believer that, men, we do lead, but women, they can create change in how we go at them. You know what I'm saying? They always want to talk about we're the heads of the family and all that stuff. But guess what? You are there to assist us to become better. So if you loose, you won't have no morals yourself. Guess what, ladies? That's what you're gonna get. A loose, no moral dude. You know what I'm saying? For real. And when he takes you to the ringer, and when you wise up after you use your body and everything else, and then you want something better, guess what? It might be too late. So y'all need to start standing your ground. That's it. Because I tell you like this: when a brother goes to the club, we see the big booty women shaking and stuff like that. But guess what we're looking at? That one woman where they're sitting like she got some class, because that's what we really want. Everything else is just an option. But if I get that one over there that's just sitting there carrying herself in a nice manner, I'm going to get her. The twerking and all that stuff, yeah, them fun bags, we toss them away. You know what I'm saying? But that one woman who carries herself in a manner, that's what we're chasing.
Okay.
I ain't out there. You said y'all call them fun bags?
He said fun bag.
Wow.
Lord Jesus. First of all, I'm going to apologize for my brother Charles. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Because we're not going to name no ladies like that. We're not going to do that. No, sir. So y'all give him on that he's trying to make a point and use sometimes poor choice words. Because the same way he talked about y'all, he got to talk about them sorry Negroes that's out there, or men that's out there that ain't doing right for themselves. And to say somebody's used up and ain't nobody gonna want you no more, that's ridiculous. That's false. And I'll tell you this, ladies, good. Hallelujah. Because that way you ain't got to waste your time with somebody that ain't meant for you anyway. So let's do it that way. Let's flip that. Because if a dude don't want to see you for who you are, bye. Keep it moving in the first place. Because that ain't what you want anyway. So that's a waste of your time that you can't get back anyway. So let's do it like that. Because what you're not going to do, C Prince, Big Bro, as much as I love you, sit up here and bash these ladies like that from a circumstance and not talk about the other side of that coin like that, bro. No, it'll never be one-sided. Not on this show. We don't ride like that. We ain't getting down like that. So I'm calling you out on love and grace, because as men, this is exactly what we need to do. What y'all see me doing to C Prince right now. And what I need sometimes in my life, because I ain't perfect. So when I mess up, I need somebody like Quay to check me. Like, nah, King, you 100% wrong, bro. That ain't cool. That ain't right. Because men need to check men. Period. We need to start holding our brothers accountable. Period. See, we want the order, we want structure, but yet we out of structure. Period. And when we're out of structure and we're out of alignment, we need our brothers to check our brothers. Period. So, C Prince, I'm checking you out of love. Ain't no way you finna talk about no female like they a piece of meat, rag doll, name them like that, whatever you want to call them. Nah, we ain't doing that, bro. Because I love you and I know you better than that. And I know doggone well you wouldn't nobody address Mika like that. You know what I mean? Ever. You wouldn't want nobody to see your daughter's value that way or your mother's value that way, because I know you a family man. And there ain't no way in the world that you would allow some man to stand in your face and repeat what they just said about your mother or your daughters in your face without punching them in their face. You would never let that happen. As much as you love me, you would never let me address your daughter or your mother like that. Ever in your presence. You would snap and lose it, because I know you better than that. So ain't no way you gonna come on my show and my boy Quay show and say something like that without me saying something to you about that. Now let's go back with us though. We got to get our stuff together, man. Period. And at the same time, ladies, I'm gonna get on YouTube. We created this child together. It ain't your child. It ain't just all yours. Just because sometimes something might rule in your favor, that don't give you all the power, all the rights to say, oh, that's just the baby daddy, I'm a mama. You a liar is what you is. Because we created this child together. That's my child just as much as it's your child. But sometimes we let our egos get in the way. This is my child. You just a baby daddy. No, you didn't create that by yourself. When did you become this all of that? And men, at the same time, don't try to act like, well, you acting masculine. She acting masculine because you ain't there. So somebody got to step up to do the part that you ain't willing to do, because you too busy wanting to run the streets and not do your part as well. So we got to check both sides. We got to do a check and balances on both sides of that equation when it comes to men and when it comes to women. That's why I do appreciate my sis Chloe, because she does her best. She does her best to make sure that she holds ladies accountable. And me and Quay, if I'm out of order, I know Quay gonna check me. Even if it is, I create the show, Quay gonna check me. Nah, hey, bro, I'm gonna hit you on the back channel. I need to talk to you about that. Hey, you know what, Los? Let me hit you on the back end. Let's get some things right, because I didn't sit right in my spirit. That don't make me always right. And that's what we're supposed to do as men. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's how you fix the foundation. Because I can't fix no woman. How can I fix a woman who I'll never understand? I don't get her emotions. I don't know her emotions. I'll never have a period. I'll never have to look at the world from a woman's standpoint. I've never been touched in the home the way women get touched in the home. See what I'm saying? So let me stay in my lane. See, I think the problem is we don't know how to stay in our lanes. Let me get my camera a little closer. Y'all need to see it, but I'm done driving now. I'm at home. I made it right on time, Jesus. Look at the Lord. Stay in your lane. See, I'm so busy trying to worry about what the ladies is doing, I'm falling apart in my lane. I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do as a man. I want to tell you to be accountable, but I don't know how to be accountable. And in my absence of accountability, you see it. Women ain't stupid. Women know if you really leading them, if you ain't leading them. Negro, I'm not finna follow you. Where are you leading me to? And if we have that, if we have that division right there, then the balance of the equation are the children. What are we showing them? I just want to know. Because if that's what they see in retrospect, and if they see that in hindsight, and if they see that in real time, what do you think they're supposed to produce in their life? And then when they do become of age, sis, tell me this, do sometimes adults not forget that they were children, and then they talk about them, well, this generation crazy. All they want to do is twerk. All they want to do. What are you speaking over the harvest? What are we speaking over them? Are we speaking life over our children? And then we wonder why they out here doing what they're doing? See, this is that vicious cycle of that hypnotic rhythm that I spoke about earlier. And I think we just got to be accountable. And it goes back to what my brother Quay and Chloe said, yo, we forgot about the foundation. We took 1 + 1 and turned it into a calculus problem and wonder why we are where we are in 2021, repeating the same thing. Because as my sister said, yo, we don't have to accept every label that's talked about. We don't have to accept every label. We don't have to agree. Like Jay Porter said, we can change the narrative and do something different. The question is, sis, the question is, Quay, the question is, Jay Porter, the question is, Mama, the question is, C. Prince, are we really willing to pay that price? Are we really willing to pay that price? Are we really willing to be different and have everybody to talk about you? Are we really different and it's okay to cancel me then? Cancel me because I don't want to agree with what's wrong. Are we really okay? Are we really to walk that? Are we really willing to walk by ourselves? Because when you walk the path of righteousness, or when you walk the path of truth, and when you walk a path of of what you believe to be real, guess what? Everybody ain't gonna walk with you. Are you willing to walk by yourself for what you believe the truth is? Because that's the price. That's the price of being honest to yourself. You know what? Your friends might delete you. Your post might not get the likes no more. You might not be able to bomb, and you might not be able to do this and that with everybody. You might not get invited to the parties no more. Can you deal with that? Can you really deal with not being a cool person no more?
Preach.
I just want to know. Because anytime somebody actually stands up for truth, guess what? They get canceled. They get shot. They get killed. Martin Luther King. Look at all of our great leaders. All of our great leaders stood up for truth, and look what happened. Because truth comes with a price. Are you willing to pay it? Are you willing to pay it with your life? Are you willing to be alienated? Are you willing to be talked about? Are you willing to be looked shunned upon? Are you willing to be having your life threatened? Your children threatened? Because that's the type of price you got to pay when you want to do the right thing. I just want to know. Or are we just going to go with the flow? Hey, baby, my mama. Hey, baby, daddy. Hey, this, hey, that. That's all I want to know. Either we could do something about it or shut up. It's that simple. Because if you don't put no action behind your conversation, what was the point of the conversation? Knowledge is only knowledge, but applying knowledge is being powerful. Will you apply what you know? It's that simple. Shout out to Jay Porter for coming on the show for the first time. We appreciate your show. We appreciate you coming out showing love. We appreciate your opinion and everything that you had to say. I want to make sure I give you your roses. C. Prince, I love you. Don't try to go back. Nah, you said what you said, and I said what I said, and I still love you. Chloe, sis, I appreciate you for doing what you do for the ladies. You feel me? Ma, I appreciate you dropping bombs. Don't call on Jesus when somebody got a gun to your head if you don't believe. It's okay. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe in higher power, Mother Earth, whatever. I love you regardless. Quay Price, boy, you stay fresh, boy. I like that red power tie. I see you, Mr. Light Skin Don't Care. I appreciate you holding the show down and doing what you do. I'm proud of you, bro. And, hey, come and join the show. Jay, hey, real quick, Jay Porter, you had fun on the show? Were you comfortable? Were you cool? Did you feel like you could share?
Oh yeah, I was. It was really nice. I got a chance to, chime in and give my viewpoints on things.
Well, please come back, show, because I love the fact that you have a ridiculous different perspective. You know why? Because there's so many people that agree with what you said. There's so many that need to hear what you got to say. So please keep coming back. Bring some friends. Show up. I don't care if you show up in this mug 30 deep. Whatever you need to do. You know what I mean? Bring your perspective because the world needs to hear it, and your voice is important, just like anybody else's. You feel me? And don't be the person in the party to agree with everybody else.
Definitely
Stand
not me.
have your point. You ain't got to agree with nobody.
That's right.
I don't care if you sit in a chat and you make every single face when you hear somebody speak. Oh, hell no. Oh, God, no. That is so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Have your own opinion because your opinion is valuable. Your perspective in your life and whatever you got to say and what you think is right on time. And the reason why is because somebody in the crowd agrees with you and somebody needs to hear you. Facts.
What?
Ain't nobody got to care about what I say. Who am I?
Erica care.
All right, Prince, here you go.
Okay.
Hey man, but hey, check this out. This is what I need y'all to do though. I need y'all to like. I need y'all to share. I need y'all to subscribe. I need to bring some friends. I need y'all to bring people of different races, different backgrounds, different ages, old, young. I need you to bring your children. Everybody needs to be able to digest this conversation, because the only way for us to create the antivirus to the system is love. And we need different type of love from everybody. Every color in the crayon box, no matter your age group. We need everybody to participate, so that way we can continue to grow, to create more conversations, and be able to look at this picture from life from so many different angles. Jaquel, your boy. You feel me? Yeah.
For sure. Shout out to everybody who joined us tonight. Everybody down in the comments. Sharice, Erica Webb, we appreciate you for joining tonight. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to I want to make sure I'm saying that right. It's Janae, right?
Yep, Janae.
All right, cool. Yes, this is my Facebook buddy right here. We be CV19ing out here. Shout out to Janae. Shout out to Shirley Ann. Shout out to C Prince, of course, as always. You want to say something else before we wrap it, man?
Yeah, I know my endings be long. So what? It's my show. I do what I want. Take it. You can click off.
Nah, you crazy.
Hey, look, I do that because I really love y'all. I really want to make my impact. I really want to have a legacy, or I'm making a legacy now, today, every second, because it could be my last breath. And when I do leave this earth, the only thing that matters is the footprints that I left. You feel me? Because I can't take nothing else with me. But my footprints will make an impact. So I'm going to say what I got to say. And if you like it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And make sure y'all go get an outfit on Halloween and dress up like my boy Quay Price. You feel me? Mr. Money, Mr. Millionaire over there. Yeah, I'm talking about his wife. Keep him looking right.
Man, you tripping, man. Shout out. This is Look in the Mirror, the conversation. We do this show every Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30.
One more thing, Quay. One more thing.
Man,
hey, Mama Price,
me,
I love you. Mama Price, I love you. Mama Price.
Man, you tripping, man. You tripping. Let me get this last comment. We're going to wrap. Erica Webb said it's time for us to make some changes.
That means she coming on the show next week.
Oh, got him. Got him.
Right. And she also said maybe we can have a show to talk about solutions. Oh, no doubt. No doubt, Erica. Like I said, but C Prince just called you out, so we want to see you on the show next Thursday. No excuses.
Hey, Quay. We're going to do that show when Eric, we'll talk about solutions when you come on and be the solution on the show. That's when we're going to do that show. You can leave. Show. How about that?
It's on Erica. Accountability on you, Erica. We'll see you next week. But shout out to, hold on, man. Hold on. What's up with all these late comments? Barbara Price.
Don't be jealous, Quay. I love you too, mama.
I love everybody.
I love this Price.
All right. I gotta wrap this show, man. All right, so let's say
don't be trying to wrap the show because Mama's showing me love. Don't be trying to wrap the show on Mama love.
It's all good. I gotta wrap this show. We passed, man. Let's say we do this show every Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Every Thursday night. This is Look in the Mirror. And with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we'll catch you guys next Thursday.
Hey, Mama Price, I beat Quay in the dance competition.